The alien research ship Synthesis moved slowly through the floating pieces of metal and debris. 3 months had passed since the battle here, but the wreckage still drifted in the cold darkness of space. Dr. Jinho pressed his four-fingered hand against the observation window and watched his team's collection drones work outside. "Another piece of their vessel," announced Dr. Minji from her station. Her large black eyes never left the scanner readings. "The metal is primitive. Iron mixed with carbon. Very basic." Dr. Ginho nodded. The creatures that had attacked research Station Game 7 were clearly not advanced. Their ships used chemical fuel and simple weapons. Should have been impossible for them to even scratch the hegemony's shields. Yet somehow they had damaged 3 sections before being destroyed. "Sir, we have something called Dr. Seok from the collection bay." His excitement was clear in his voice. "The preservation unit has found organic matter. It looks ... intact." Jinho hurried to the lower deck. Through the thick glass of the containment field he could see it, a body. The creature was tall, much taller than any of them, with pale skin and strange hair growing from its head. Its limbs were long and appeared fragile. Its arms, 2 legs, and a head that seemed too small for its body. "How is it so well preserved?" asked Dr. Hyun, the ship's medical officer. She had arrived just moments after Jinho. Her scaled skin showed patches of nervous color change. "The cold of space," Seok explained. "And this section of their ship had some kind of life support system that kept working even after the explosion." The creature was frozen quickly. Ginho studied the being carefully. It wore a simple uniform made of woven plant fibers. No advanced materials, no protective gear that would help in space. The creature's species had sent their people to fight in nothing but cloth and determination. "What do we know about their homeworld?" Jinho asked. Minji pulled up the survey data on her screen. "System designation, Terra 3. 3rd planet from a yellow star. The surface is covered in water and land masses. High oxygen content in the atmosphere. Dangerous radiation levels from their star. Extreme weather patterns. Temperature ranges that would kill most species. No wonder they seem so primitive," said Hyun. "Living on such a world would prevent proper evolution." But Jinho was not so sure. He had seen the battle recordings. These creatures had fought with a fury that seemed impossible. Even when their ships were breaking apart, they had continued attacking. Some had even tried to ram their vessels into hegemony ships. "Prepare the specimen for transport to the main laboratory," he ordered. "I want to know what kind of biology could produce such behavior." Containment field hummed as the body was moved to a secure examination room. The creature was placed on the analysis table, its arms at its sides. Even in death, there was something unsettling about its appearance. The face was too symmetrical, the bone structure too defined. "Look at these readings," Minji said, running her scanner over the body. "The muscle density is higher than expected, and the bone structure. It's much stronger than it appears." Dr. Seok joined her at the table. His medical training made him curious about the creature's internal systems. "The skull is thick, very thick. Look at these hands." He lifted one of the creature's arms. "Fingers are designed for gripping. These ridges on the skin would help them hold on to things." "Gripping what?" asked Hayan. "Tools, weapons, each other perhaps?" Ginho watched his team work. Each new discovery raised more questions. The creature's body seemed designed for violence. Yet it was also built for survival in harsh conditions. The skin showed evidence of healing from multiple injuries. Scars marked the arms and torso. "This one has been in many fights," observed Minji. "Look at these marks, burns, cuts, impact damage, all healed. How does a primitive species survive so much damage?" wondered Seok. The answer would have to wait for the full examination. But already, Ginho felt a strange unease growing in his mind. The hegemony had rules about contact with new species. First they observed, then they made contact. Finally, if the species proved hostile, they eliminated the threat. But these creatures had attacked first. They had come to the research station with weapons ready. No communication, no warning, just violence. "Sir," said Hayan quietly, I'm detecting something strange in the neural tissue. The brain activity stopped when the creature died, but the patterns I'm seeing suggest a very complex nervous system. More complex than ours? Asked Ginho. Different. Not necessarily more advanced, but it's adapted for something we don't understand yet. Ginho made his decision. We will conduct a full autopsy tomorrow. I want to know everything about this species. Their biology, their capabilities, their weaknesses. If there are more of them, the hegemony needs to be prepared. As the team prepared to leave the laboratory, none of them noticed the small device attached to the creature's uniform. A simple metal disc no bigger than a fingernail. Inside, a weak signal continued to pulse, sending a message across the vast distances of space. The message was simple. They have taken one of us. The next morning, Dr. Ginho stood before the examination table in the main laboratory. The creature lay still under the bright lights, its pale skin almost glowing against the metal surface. The laboratory was the most advanced on the ship, filled with scanners and tools that could analyze any known form of life. Begin the external examination, Ginho ordered. Dr. Siok activated the scanning array. Beams of light passed over the creature's body, recording every detail. The readings appeared on screens around the room, showing measurements and data that made the team exchange worried glances. The height is 2 meters exactly, Siok reported. Weight is 90 kilograms, much heavier than it appears. Dr. Minji studied the creature's head. Only 2 eyes. How can it see properly with such limited vision? Most intelligent species have at least 4 eyes, often 6. The eyes are positioned on the front of the head, noted Dr. Hayan. This suggests a predator species. Prey animals have eyes on the sides to watch for danger. Ginho nodded. That matched what they had seen in the battle recordings. These creatures had attacked like hunters, not like peaceful beings defending themselves. Look at the teeth, Siok said, carefully opening the creature's mouth. Sharp front teeth for cutting, flat back teeth for grinding. This species eats both meat and plants, an omnivore, Minji observed. That explains the aggressive behavior. Species that hunt for food are naturally more violent. Dr. Han ran her scanner over the creature's chest. The heart is here, in the center. But look at this reading. The heart has 4 chambers, not the usual 2. It's designed to pump blood very quickly. Why would it need to pump blood so fast? Asked Siok. For running or fighting, Ginho answered grimly. The examination continued. Each new discovery was stranger than the last. The creature's hands had 5 fingers each with hard nails at the tips. The feet were designed for running on hard surfaces. The legs were long and muscular, built for speed and jumping. The bone structure is very unusual, Mingi reported. The bones are hollow in some places, solid in others. This makes them light. But strong, like a flying creature? Asked Hyan. No, there are no wings, but the design suggests they need to move quickly. Perhaps they climb or jump great distances. Dr. Siok was examining the creature's skin with a magnifying scanner. The skin is covered in tiny holes. These must be for releasing water to cool the body. But why would they need such an advanced cooling system? Their homeworld, Ginho realized. The high temperatures and radiation. Their bodies are designed to survive in conditions that would kill us. This was becoming disturbing. The more they learned, the more they realized these creatures were not as primitive as they had thought. Their bodies were perfectly designed for their harsh world. Look at this, Hyun said, pointing to marks on the creature's arms. These are not battle scars. These are marks from their own kind. See how they're healed. This creature has been grabbed and held by others of its species. Many times? Social bonding? Suggested Minji. Or training for combat, Ginho said darkly. Dr. Siok had moved to examine the creature's head more closely. The skull is incredibly thick. The brain is protected by bone that's twice as thick as ours. And look at this structure here, pointed to an area behind the creature's ears. These are balance organs, very advanced ones. Balance organs, Yoon asked. They help the creature know which way is up, how fast it's moving, how to stay steady while moving quickly. These are the most advanced balance organs I've ever seen. Jinho felt a chill run through his body. They're designed for three-dimensional movement, fighting in space, perhaps. But their ships were so primitive, Minji protested. Maybe the ships were primitive, but the pilots were not, Jinho replied. The team worked in silence for several minutes. The readings from their instruments painted a picture of a creature that was far more dangerous than its simple appearance suggested. Every system in its body seemed designed for survival in the worst possible conditions. The nervous system is fascinating, Hyun reported. The nerves are covered in a thick protective layer. This creature could function even with significant nerve damage. Pain tolerance, Seok added. This species can continue fighting even when badly injured. The muscle fibers are dense, Minji observed. Much denser than ours. This creature is at least 3 times stronger than it appears. Dr. Ginho walked around the table, studying the creature from every angle. Everything about it suggested a species that had been shaped by constant danger. Every part of its body was built for survival, for fighting, for protecting itself and others. The respiratory system is interesting, Seok noted. The lungs are large and efficient. This creature can hold its breath for long periods and extract oxygen from thin air. Or from damaged life support systems, Jinho added quietly. The implications were becoming clear. This species had not just survived on a death world, they had thrived on it. Every challenge their planet had thrown at them had made them stronger. Faster, more dangerous. Sir, Mingi said nervously, if this is what one of them looks like, what happens when we meet more of them? Ginho stared at the creature on the table. We'll need to be very careful. This species is not what we thought it was. Dr. Jinho picked up the surgical cutting tool and looked at his team. We will begin the internal examination now, Dr. Seok. Monitor all readings. Dr. Mingi, record everything. Dr. Huyon, watch for any unusual reactions. The first cut was made across the creature's chest. The tool sliced through the skin easily, but when it reached the muscle layer, something strange happened. The muscle tissue seemed to resist the blade more than it should have. The muscle density is higher than our scans showed, Seok reported, watching his instruments. Much higher. Dr. Minji leaned closer to look at the exposed tissue. The muscle. Fibers are arranged in a pattern I've never seen before. They're layered like armor. Armor? Jinho asked. Natural armor. The muscles are designed to protect the organs underneath, but also to provide incredible strength. Dr. Hyun's scanner began making unusual sounds. Sir, I'm getting readings that don't make sense. The blood chemistry is showing impossible levels of oxygen content. Recalibrate the scanner, Jinho ordered. Heian worked on her instrument for several minutes, then tried again. The readings are the same. This creature's blood carries 3 times more oxygen than should be possible. At these levels, the blood should be toxic to living tissue. But the creature was alive, Seok pointed out. Exactly. Which means their biology works in ways we don't understand. Ginho continued the examination, opening the chest cavity completely. What he found inside made him step back in shock. Look at this. The heart is not just for chambers. It has additional chambers we couldn't see from the outside. How many? Asked Minji. 6, maybe 7. And look at the size of it. The heart was much larger than their scans had indicated. It filled most of the chest cavity with thick walls that looked incredibly strong. Dr. Seok's instruments were going wild. The heart muscle is unlike anything in our databases. The cells are packed with energy-producing structures. This heart could pump blood at pressures that would burst our blood vessels. Why would they need such a powerful heart, Hyun wondered. For their muscles, Jinho realized. These dense muscle fibers need massive amounts of oxygen and energy. The heart is designed to supply it. Dr. Mingi was examining the creature's lungs. The lung capacity is enormous. But look at these structures inside. They're not just air sacs. They're processing chambers. Processing what? Asked Seok. Air. These lungs can extract oxygen from almost any gas mixture. They can even process toxic gases and filter out the dangerous parts. The team worked in stunned silence. Every organ they examined was more complex and capable than anything they had seen before. The liver was 3 times larger than expected, and contained filtering systems that could process almost any poison. The kidneys were designed to work in extreme conditions, recycling water and nutrients with perfect efficiency. The nervous system is the most disturbing, Heian reported. The brain is not just protected by thick bone. It's connected to backup nerve clusters throughout the body. Backup clusters? Jinho asked. If part of the brain is damaged, these other nerve centers can take over some functions. This creature could continue thinking and fighting, even with severe head injuries. Dr. Seok had moved to examine the creature's bones. The bone density readings are fluctuating. That's impossible. Show me, Ginho ordered. Siok pointed his scanner at the creature's arm bone. The reading showed high density, then low density, then high again. The scanner is working properly. Bone density is actually changing as we watch. That's impossible, Minji said. Bones don't change density after death. These do. Look at this structure inside the bone. Seok used a probe to point at tiny chambers within the bone. These are filled with some kind of fluid. I think the bones can adjust their density based on need. Strong when they need to be strong, light when they need to be fast, Jinho murmured. Dr. Hain made another disturbing discovery. The creature's spine is not just bone. There are metal elements mixed into the bone structure. Metal, Seok asked. Calcium. Other elements I can't identify. It's like their bones are made of natural metal alloys. The implications were staggering. This creature's skeleton was stronger than most manufactured materials. Its organs could function in conditions that would kill any known species. Its blood could carry impossible amounts of oxygen without poisoning the body. Run the scans again, Jinho ordered. All of them. The team spent the next hour recalibrating every instrument and running every test twice. The results were always the same. The creature's body defied the basic laws of biology as they understood them. How is this possible? Mingi asked quietly. Their world, Jinho answered. You said it was too dangerous for life. High radiation, extreme temperatures, violent weather. But what if life didn't just survive there? What if it evolved to use those conditions? You mean the radiation helped them evolve? Asked Heian. Or the extreme conditions forced them to evolve beyond normal limits? Every generation faced death. Only the strongest, the most adaptable, the most impossible survived. Dr. Seok stared at the creature on the table. If this is what evolution produced on their world, then every one of them is a living weapon. A biological weapon, Jinho corrected, created by a planet that wanted to kill them. Instead of dying, they became something that could fight back against anything. The laboratory fell silent, except for the humming of instruments. The creature lay still, but now they understood it was not just a body. It was a miracle of survival, shaped by forces that would have destroyed any other species. Sir Heian said softly, "What do we do with this information?" Jinho looked at his team, then at the creature. "We continue the examination. We need to know everything." Dr. Jinho moved deeper into the creature's body, his cutting tool revealing layers of tissue that seemed to pulse with hidden energy even in death. What he found in the abdominal cavity made him freeze completely. "There are too many organs," he whispered. Dr. Seok rushed to his side. "What do you mean?" "Look, this creature has 2 of everything. It's 2 livers, 2 sets of kidneys, 2 of these. Filtering organs I don't recognize." Ginho's voice shook as he pointed with his probe. "If one organ fails, the backup takes over immediately." Dr. Minji checked her anatomy database. No known species has complete organ redundancy. The energy cost would be too high, unless energy isn't a problem for them, Dr. Heian said quietly, studying her readings. "Look at these cellular structures. Every cell is packed with energy producers. Hundreds of them. They generate power like tiny engines." Dr. Seok discovered something even more disturbing. The muscle tissue is self-repairing. Watch this. He took a small sample and placed it under the microscope. Even though the creature was dead, the muscle fibers were slowly reconnecting themselves. "That's impossible," Minji breathed. "Dead tissue doesn't repair itself. This tissue isn't fully dead yet. It's still trying to heal." Siok's hands trembled as he adjusted the microscope. The healing process is built into every cell. They don't just recover from injuries, they become stronger where they were hurt.
Doctor?
Jinho continued his examination, finding more impossible things with each cut. The creature's ribs were not just bones. They're flexible, able to bend without breaking. When he pressed on them, they pushed back with their own force. The entire skeleton is alive, he reported. These bones can move, flex, and even reshape themselves. If this creature was grabbed or squeezed, its bones would adjust to prevent breaking. Dr. Han made a discovery that made everyone stop working. The nervous system is not just protected, it's enhanced. These nerve pathways can carry signals faster than our best computers can process data. How fast? Asked COC. Fast enough to react to things before they happen. If this creature saw a weapon being aimed at it, its body would already be moving. To avoid the shot before its brain finished processing the threat, the team worked in growing horror. Every system in the creature's body was designed not just for survival, but for combat. The digestive system could process almost any organic matter, meaning the creature could eat anything and gain energy from it. The respiratory system could extract oxygen from air so thin it would suffocate other species. Look at this gland near the heart, Dr. Jinho said, pointing to a small organ they had missed earlier. It's connected to the bloodstream and the nervous system. Dr. Siok ran his scanner over it. The chemical composition is unlike anything I've seen. It produces dozens of different compounds. What kind of compounds? Minji asked. Stimulants, pain blockers, healing accelerators, combat enhancers. Siok's voice grew quieter with each word. This gland can flood the creature's body with chemicals that make it stronger, faster, and immune to pain. A battle drug system, Jinho realized, built into their bodies. Dr. Hain discovered something that made her step away from the table. The brain structure is more complex than we thought. There are sections we missed because they're hidden behind other tissue. What kind of sections? Jinho asked. Memory centers. But not for storing information, for storing experiences. Pain, fear, anger, protective instincts. This creature's brain can remember every fight, every injury, every moment of protecting others. Why would evolution create such a thing? Wondered because fighting and protecting others kept them alive, Jinho answered. Their planet rewarded violence and sacrifice, so their brains evolved to be good at both. The most disturbing discovery came when Dr. Minji examined the creature's hands more closely. These aren't just grasping appendages. Look at the bone structure in the fingers. She showed them how the finger bones were reinforced and shaped. These hands are designed to hold weapons. The grip strength is incredible, but more than that, the entire hand is shaped to swing clubs, thrust spears, or squeeze throats. Natural weapons, Hain said quietly. Everything about them is a weapon, Ginho corrected. Their bones, their muscles, their reflexes, their minds. This entire species was forged by a world that tried to kill them every day. Dr. Siok made the final, horrifying discovery. The reproductive system shows signs of rapid development. Species doesn't just survive, it multiplies quickly.
How quickly?
Asked Jinho. Fast enough to replace losses from constant warfare. Their planet didn't just make them into fighters. It made them into fighters who could produce more fighters. The laboratory fell silent. The creature on the table was no longer just a specimen. It was evidence of something terrifying. An entire species that had been shaped by death itself into the perfect biological weapon. Sir, Minji said, her voice barely a whisper. We need to understand what this means. Dr. Jinho looked at his team, then at the creature. It means we didn't destroy a primitive species that attacked us. We destroyed the advanced scout of a species that was born to fight. And there are billions more of them, Hyun added. Billions of perfect biological weapons, Siok concluded. All of them shaped by a world that taught them that survival means fighting, and fighting means protecting each other. Ginho felt fear creep into his mind. Now they know we exist. Dr. Ginho stared at the final scan results on his screen. The numbers made no sense, but he had checked them 5 times. They were correct, and they were terrifying. system, he said slowly, can increase this creature's physical abilities by 300%. Dr. Seok looked up from his own readings. 300%? That's impossible. No biological system can handle that kind of stress. This one can. Ginho pointed to the scan of the creature's internal organs. Every system is built to handle the overload. When threatened, this creature becomes 3 times stronger, 3 times faster, and feels no pain. Dr. Mingi was examining the creature's brain with a specialized scanner. The mental changes are even more disturbing. This part of the brain, when activated, shuts down fear completely. No fear? Asked Dr. Hyun. None. And look at this section here. Minji traced a path on the brain scan. This area controls something I've never seen before. It's connected to memory centers about protecting others. Dr. Seok studied the readings. What does it do? Makes the creature willing to die for others of its kind. Not just willing. Makes them want to do it. The brain releases chemicals. That makes self-sacrifice feel good. The team worked in stunned silence. Every new discovery was worse than the last. The creature's body was designed not just for fighting, but for fighting until death. And death, for this species, was not something to be feared, but something to be embraced if it meant protecting others. The social bonding chemicals are incredible, Dr. Han reported. This creature's brain produces compounds that create unbreakable loyalty to its group. Once bonded, they would never abandon each other. Pack hunters, Jinho realized. But not hunting for food, hunting to protect their pack. Dr. Seok made another disturbing discovery. The learning centers in the brain are massive. This creature can memorize fighting techniques, weapon usage, and tactical information with perfect accuracy. They learn from every battle, Minji added, and they remember everything. Every mistake, every successful attack, every way to hurt their enemies. Dr. Jinho walked around the examination table, his mind racing. We need to understand what happened at the research station. Why did they attack us? Dr. Han pulled up the battle records on her screen. According to the reports, our research station was studying their solar system. We were collecting data on their planet's resources. We were watching them, Seok said quietly. They saw us watching, Jinho concluded. To a species like this, being watched by strangers would be seen as a threat to their pack. The implications hit them all at once. The creatures hadn't attacked because they were primitive or violent. It attacked because their biology told them to protect their home and their kind from any threat. Sir, Minji said, her voice shaking, I'm detecting something in the brain tissue. Neural pathways that suggest complex communication abilities. What kind of communication? Jinho asked. Long range? This creature's brain has sections designed to send and receive signals across vast distances. They can communicate with others. Of their kind, even when separated by space? Dr. Seok's face went pale. The device we found on the creature's uniform? It wasn't just decoration. It was a transmitter, Hyan realized. This creature sent a message before it died. The laboratory emergency alarm suddenly began blaring. Dr. Jinho rushed to the communication panel and activated the ship's sensors. What he saw on the screen made his blood freeze. Incoming ships, he announced. Hundreds of them. The team gathered around the sensor display. The approaching vessels were small, simple, and primitive-looking, but there were so many of them. They filled the entire screen. They're not trying to hide, Seok observed. They're coming straight for us. Because they don't need to hide, Jinho said grimly. They know exactly what they're facing, and they're not afraid. Dr. Minji was still studying the creature's brain. Sir, there's something else. The memory centers show that this creature has been in space before, multiple times. They're not primitive space travelers. They're experienced. Experienced at what? Asked Haon. War. This creature has fought in space battles before. And? Damned, the neural pathways show combat experience in zero gravity, in ship-to-ship fighting, in boarding actions. The communication system crackled to life. A voice spoke in a language they didn't recognize, but the tone was clear. It was cold, determined, and completely without fear. We're trying to communicate, Seok said. No, Ginho corrected, understanding the truth. They're giving us a chance to surrender. The approaching ship spread out in a formation that spoke of military experience. These weren't random attackers. They were soldiers, coming to retrieve their fallen comrade and deal with the threat that had killed him. "How many ships?" asked Ming-Yi. "I stopped counting at 500, Heian replied, "and more are arriving." Dr. Jin-Ho looked at his team, then at the creature on the table. "We thought we were studying a primitive species, but we were wrong. We were studying a member of a species that has been fighting wars in space for generations. What do?" Seok asked. "We prepare a message for the hegemony," Jin-Ho said quietly. "We tell them that we didn't discover a new species. We discovered that we are now at war with biological weapons that think, plan, and care more about each other than they do about their own lives." The approaching ships grew larger on the screen. In the laboratory, the creature lay still, but its message had been received. Its people were coming, and they were bringing everything they had. Sir Minji whispered, "I don't think we're going to survive this." Dr. Jin-Ho sealed the laboratory and activated the emergency protocols. "No, but maybe our data will."